Hi, Flosstube. My name is Erin. I am a 28-year-old stitcher coming to you on the internet from Southern Ontario, Canada. Today is October 23rd. It's a Sunday, and this is my second Flosstube video. So this is going to be the first sort of true update video, as my first video that I filmed a couple of weeks ago was just a WIP parade. I think as a rite of passage, once you start Flosstube, you are able to start a couple of new things. So what I'll talk you through today are the previous WIPs that I've worked on, the new starts that I've had. There's been 2 of them. And then I'll walk you through a little bit of haul, and just as a thank you from the bottom of my heart for the support and encouragement that I received on my first video, I do have a sneaky little giveaway of 2 different just little kits that I don't think are for me, and so I would love to pass them on to you. A couple of things have happened since my last video. The first is that I purchased Pattern Keeper, and I am using it just on my phone because I have a Samsung phone, and it's really great. I do just wish I had a bit of a bigger screen. So maybe for Christmas I'll get a tablet that is compatible with Pattern Keeper, and we'll go from there. The other thing that has happened is I've kind of tried to implement a system of like an hourly rotation instead of like a stitch count rotation, so that I can touch all of my WIPs, but I'm still sort of figuring out the logistics of that. And so I'm not really ready to talk about it as a system. I want to make sure that it's something that's working for me, but the gist of it is I have an app on my phone that is multiple different timers at once, and so I currently have 6 projects queued up in there with a set time goal, and once that time runs out, I'll take a progress picture and I will then swap in a different project. I'm just working out the kinks on how many hours is too many hours, so hopefully over the next 2 weeks I'll have worked out the kinks on that a little bit. So in terms of my WIPs, I've worked on 3 of my 8 projects, which is not very good, but I do have 2 new starts, and I know a lot of people will talk about their new starts up front, but I want to kind of save the haul that I have for last, and the new starts that I have are directly related to the haul that I have brought into my house. So I'm feeling a little bit chatty. I hope you have something lovely to drink. It's quite warm here in Southern Ontario this weekend. It's still about 20 degrees after a really cold week. So I do have a cup of tea. I am not really a coffee or fancy drinker. Tea is kind of where I reside, and I have Barry's Irish breakfast, which is my current favorite. So I hope you have a cup of something, and hopefully this video isn't too long, but I would love for you to stick around, and I do have something that I would like your advice on if you would be so inclined to give that to me. Again, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody who commented on my last video, who subscribed to the channel. It's just been a whirlwind the past couple of weeks, and so I'm excited to continue on. If you're new and you haven't seen my WIP parade, I would encourage you to go watch it. I'm a little bit nervous in the video, I think you can tell, but I'm sure I'll warm up, no problem. So I'm just going to get started with my WIPs. So with my last video, I think I had talked about how I thought perhaps I would stitch on my Dimensions ornament, Christmas ornament kit, and I didn't. Instead, I picked up a project that I haven't touched in quite some time. I'm really glad that I picked it up. So I started stitching Le Jour. So I'll post a picture here of what it's going to look like and then what it looked like last week or last video. This is stitch on 18 count antique white Aida with DMC 809. This is where we're at. I brought the border down or across and down and started stitching a little bit in her hair and the waves. So this is about 30% done according to Pattern Keeper. I had hoped to stitch more, but just kind of my attention has been fleeting, especially with 2 new starts in 2 weeks. You can imagine how little I wanted to stitch on anything else. But this is still in my rotation for a couple of more hours before it might go away. I think my goal is to get the border done and then go back in and stitch her. I think she's beautiful. I do have a couple of corrections to make from my last video. I called this de jour, but it's le jour, you know, like French is a national language of Canada, and clearly my French is not that good. So it's le jour. It's off of Etsy. The seller is 2x2 cross stitch art. I leave a link to anywhere you can purchase the patterns that I talk about in the description box of my videos. And it'll be for the patterns that I talk about specifically. So in my first video, there was everything, and now I will just provide it with the details of the pieces that I show you. So I'm absolutely loving her. She's beautiful, the color gorgeous, and I do think after last video that darker blue 3150, I think, from DMC is the color. There was a commenter, and I'm so sorry I forget your name. I should have written it down. She mentioned that like an etoile would probably look really stunning. And there's like a really big part of me that wants to go find a toile and rip out these 2 corners, and then the 2 corners at the bottom in an etoile, and then write like Le Jour in a toile. And I don't know, I might get a little bit crazy and do something like that. So that is my first WIP. Really just so thrilled with that. I did hope to have more progress, as I said, but things took my brain away, and off I went on to different things. So the second WIP that I have is kind of on a little bit of a timeout. This is on also 18 count antique Aida, and it is stitched with DMC 310. It is Black Vintage Sampler by OwlForest Embroidery. Since using Pattern Keeper, I have misplaced the paper pattern of this project, so this is what it will look like, and also what it looked like last time. And there's an error on this piece, and that's why it's kind of in timeout. I did stitch quite a bit of it, put quite a good chunk of time into it, and then had an error, and I'm quite upset about it, and this is what I'm hoping to get your advice on. So this is what it looks like now. Looking at it in like the picture on my camera, you can't super tell where the mistake is, but I'll bring it in a little bit closer and maybe you can see. Maybe you can't, maybe it's just me because I know it's there. So I stitched all of this, all of these little doodads. I stitched this, and then the bell. The mistake is there. The bell is not only 1 stitch too wide, it's 1 stitch too long. So I made 2 mistakes because I'm going to blame the fact that I was watching a very intense hockey game as I was stitching, and it's just so close to the boat. And I stitched this whole boat without any errors. And so I feel like I have 2 options. I can frog it, restitch it, and not think about it. Or I think what I might actually do is finish this whole bottom section and then see how it looks once everything is completed. I think as long as I don't count from the bell itself, everything else will be in the right place. And if it still looks like it's not right, I think maybe then I might frog it. But I would just really love your advice on what to do. I've seen this completed. It's absolutely stunning. But I completely lost my mojo on it when I made that error. And I had just kind of put my thread through the back and cut it as I realized the mistake that I made. And it was just one of those times where I was just like, no, okay, I'm putting it away. So yes, any advice you have on what to do, please tell me. According to Pattern Keeper, I removed the bell from my Pattern Keeper progress as a potential to frog, and according to Pattern Keeper, I am 11% complete. This is going to be quite a large piece, but yes, please please give me your advice. I would love your advice. The next project that I have to share with you is the Haunted Library Sal from Lola Crow. It looks like this. There is the penultimate character was just released. Dropping things. The last time you saw it, it looked like this. Sorry, my throat is a little bit scratchy. And it's the project that I've done the most work on, hours-wise, based on my system. But it doesn't look like I did that much, and I have to remind myself it's because there's a lot of color changes. But this is what it looks like now. So I've brought up the staircase. This part is still incomplete. I got a little bit impatient and moved over to the bat. And then this is the beginnings of Dracula hanging upside down reading a book. So the character that fits here was just released. And I don't really know if I'm going to come back down and stitch him or continue up. This black line here is where the start of the first character at the top of the stairs is, and that's a skeleton. And I don't know if you can see, but in the white of the skulls as well as the candle, I decided to use some étoile, and then in the candle flames I'm going to use an orange étoile, and then see what else I can put in there that's sparkly. I do think it adds very subtle sparkle to it. This is on a 20 count Vintage Country Mocha Aida. This is the called for fabric for the Sal. I got, a fat quarter, I think, and so I have a lot of fabric left, so I'll be able to stitch something else because I absolutely love this fabric. I love the modeling of it. I love the way 20 count looks. So I'm stitching this 1/1 with most of the called for DMC. There are a couple of colors, like in terms of the books, that I don't have, so I'm just swapping in with something from my stash so that I can continue on. I think my hang up in the last video was that I was looking for and waiting for some flosses to feel like my kit was more complete. And yeah, I just got a couple of flosses, and now everything else I'm making up as I go along. And so those are the 3 WIPs that I worked on, and I guess we're rolling right into new starts. So the first new start I think I alluded to in my last video. There's been a bit of a saga with this start. It's Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. It's absolutely stunning. I downloaded this pattern immediately when it was released back in 2020 during the pandemic, and it has sat printed in my stash. I mean, it's a little crinkled up now, but because there were many different iterations of it in my mind. in 2020, I had gotten some fabric, but I was still such a new stitcher that I didn't know how much I needed of either floss or fabric. I didn't know really a whole lot of anything. And so I started it, didn't really like the way it was looking, and then sort of just put it down indefinitely. Over the course of this year, I've purchased 2 different, like, incredibly large pieces of fabric of 28 count, but I don't have enough experience on stitching it, like stitching on a higher count, right? Like my comfort level currently is 20 count, 18 count, specifically Aida, and I don't trust myself really to do the correct counting, to do 2/2, or even the correct counting to do 1/1 on 28 count. And so I picked up a gigantic meter by meter piece of Vintage Country Mocha, and I've started Pandemic. So apologies, it's still on the Q snap, but this is an unruly piece of fabric. So this is where I am. I started in the upper left corner. I'll bring it a bit closer to you. It is stitched 1/1. This gray color I think is showing up quite well. It's DMC 3799. And then I have this little green dog, and all of the animals are going to be stitched in this, and that's 501 from DMC. So according to Pattern Keeper, this is 1% complete, and I had a very soft goal of finishing this within a year, and I just don't think that that's possible. I just don't want this to be a WIP forever. I want it finished, and I want it framed. My partner has said that, anything I want framed, to just let them know, and birthday and Christmas are 7 months apart. Well, my birthday's in July. Christmas is obviously in December. So hopefully by next Christmas, this can be completed, and I can have a framed Christmas gift. But yes, I absolutely love it. I love the way the colors are showing up on this. I was a bit concerned about the green, but the reason I wanted to stitch in 2 colors is I didn't want to get bored of 3799. There's a lot of it in there, and so the chance to switch out a color is, I think, really exciting for me. And so yes, that is my one new start. I have a second new start, which is also on a new piece of fabric, which is also a pattern from a magazine that I've purchased. So I'll just start with haul. So I did purchase both the 2021 and the 2022 just cross-stitch Christmas ornaments collections. I've never really thought of myself as a Christmas stitcher, but I love the idea of giving ornaments as gifts. And so I thought, why not get these and I can pull from them? And immediately I saw this right here, this one. And it just fits so perfectly. It's called Baking Spirits Bright, and it's by Barefoot Needle Art. The designer is Amy Baker, and so here is a better photo of it. I just thought there's a little bit of a story here. My partner's stepmom is prolific at a number of things, knitting being one of them, baking being another. And so I thought I could I thought I could make this for her, because this year I've made a very bold choice, and I've decided to ask her to teach me how to bake. I can follow a recipe, but I don't necessarily like a lot of Christmas flavors or cookies, like peppermint, not my jam. Chocolate with fruit, not my jam. I'm very basic, if you will, in terms of the treats that I desire. And so, yeah, I thought I would make this for her as a gift to say thank you for teaching me how to bake this year. We are starting kind of doing a trial run of things in mid-November. And so I stitched up quite a bit of this. This is on 18 count antique white Aida that I purchased, and with the rest of the fabric that I'm going to show you, as well as these two magazines. The green is the called for color, but this red is not. The pattern calls for DMC 666, which is not something that I have. So I found this red that just speaks Christmas to me, and it's DMC 866. And so all I have left to stitch is the rolling pin that comes across here, the doodad swirliness of the S, and then the baking, and then the gingerbread man. And this is going to be a lot for me because it's the second gift that I'm giving, but I finish things by haphazardly framing them myself. But I want to make this into like a little decorative pillow. I think it's too big on 18 count to be an ornament, but if I make it into a pillow with just a little ribbon that she can maybe hang it off of something, or they have a beautiful shelf in their living room that maybe she could put it on. But I've never finished anything as a pillow before. I've seen some really good tutorials online. I do have a sewing machine that I've used maybe 2 times. So my real goal for the next video is to be able to show you that I've completed it fully. I want to learn how to do it, and I want to learn how to do it before my next video, because if I mess it up, which is what I'm afraid of, I will have enough time to stitch it again and try again. And so what I need to do is go to my local needlework store that's like in my town, but they primarily deal with like quilting and sewing. So they have a lot of like fabric, so they just put out all of their Christmas fabric. So I'm gonna find something from there. I might even actually rent out one of the sewing machines they have, because I took a class there a little while ago, and I made this pillowcase. So they are just they're very helpful there, and you can rent the sewing machine for an hour or 2 hours, or however long it takes, and they're very knowledgeable on sewing and sort of what will look good and how to approach a project. So I might do that just to be safe, but that is my goal for next next time. And then I did just want to show you the fabrics that I picked up. I'm trying to be a little bit more adventurous and having fabric in my stash for projects to maybe complete on a whim, instead of purchasing fabric or for a specific project. My fabric stash, I mean, it's quite big now because I have those 2 28 count pieces of fabric that are gigantic, but I don't have a lot of just fabric to use. So all of this is 18 count Aida. I have Confederate gray. I just like a fat quarter, right? That's all these are. So I might stitch another ornament on this. I have this color, which is absolutely stunning. It's called Nougat. It's way more pink than it's picking up on camera. It's definitely like a dusty pinky color, but this is coming off a bit beige. And then I have these. I bought 2 of these because I love this color so much, and it's a discontinued color. It's called Dusty Green. This is probably picking up quite true. It's just so gorgeous. And so yeah, I picked up 2 because I don't know. I mean, they didn't cut it, so that's great. I guess that's how that works. I'm learning something new. I order a lot of my fabric from Stitch It Central in London, Ontario, and I never really realized how to get a bigger count fabric because they just sell them in fat quarters. But I guess if you order double, they just provide it for you in one giant. Wow, I don't know why that never occurred to me. Great. wonderful for me. Anyway, I have this huge piece of this that I can cut up and use. And so now we're on to the giveaway portion of the video. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it through all of this. I will say in terms of haul, I have a number of patterns that I've bought recently because everybody was quite inspiring to me in the comments of my previous video about stitching maybe a couple of small things to break up the enormous projects that I have, and I'm kind of leaning into that. So you will see probably a couple of new starts from me in my next video as well. As I lean into the new smalls era of my cross-stitch journey. But in terms of the thank you giveaway that I have two separate Mill Hill bead kits that were gifted to me at the beginning of my stitchy journey, and I don't think that this is something that I'm going to want to pursue. I think beading is something that is terrifying to me, and so I will pass these on again, or not again, I guess, but as usual, please do not say the word giveaway or free in the comment section. Be 18 years or older and be comfortable giving me your address to ship. I will ship these out separately with hopefully a few other goodies in the package. I love a good mail day, happy mail. So the first one is a magnet. It's Autumn Harvest. It's so cute. It's the full kit, so beads, magnet, needle, thread, perforated paper in there. If you'd like to win this one, just say a comment with the word autumn in it, and I will do that random comment picker. I'll ship anywhere that doesn't bother me. Sorry about the crinkling, but the beads somehow for this next one were not in a visible spot in the kit. Oh, I have a friend. This is my cat, Harold. He is the middle cat of our family, and he acts as such. Hello? Oh, he's just gonna probably go on that table. Okay, hi, Harold. Goodbye, Harold. So the next one is a Mill Hill charmed stocking ornament. So this also has the beads, the floss, the perforator paper, and I will pass this along to whoever wins. If you want this one, just maybe say ornament, and I will search by that as well. I just love that the snowman has little hearts. It's so cute. So yeah, there will be two separate winners for these. Again, Autumn, if you'd like to win the magnet ornament, if you would like to win the stocking. And I will pull the winners in my next video, which should be in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all of your kind comments and your support on my last video. It's very much appreciated. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend wherever you are. I'm sad that it is time to go to work tomorrow. The weekends always feel too short, but I love seeing the progress that I've made over the past couple weeks, and hopefully in my next video you'll see a finish from me. You'll see some other projects that I am hopefully going to touch before the end of the week or the end of the month, and I'll be able to share with you my new sort of rotation. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you are enjoying your stitching and that the big bad frog doesn't meet you anytime soon. I will talk to you soon. See you later.